Hello, welcome back to the Wee Larder channel. Hope you're all doing fine. Today we're going to be making a delicious coconut and cherry cake. I absolutely love this recipe. It always seems to come out really well. So it's one of our favourite recipes, and it reminds me of the Scottish tea rooms that we like to visit in the summer months. This recipe is actually in the Scottish Tearoom cookbook. I'll pop a link down below for that. And if you're a member over on Patreon, you can pop over and print out your recipe card for this recipe. So let's get started on this delicious coconut and cherry cake. So for this recipe, you're going to need these ingredients here, and we're just going to get started by creaming our butter and sugar together. So you can use your handheld mixer, a wooden spoon, whatever you have. I've just been using like a wooden spoon for ages, and I finally got my KitchenAid working again, so I'm back to using my KitchenAid because it likes to takes all the hard work out of making a good recipe. So it needs a little bit of adjusting. It's not quite touching the bottom of the bowl, but yeah, I'll get that repaired. So we're going to cream that together, and we're just going to add in our wee pinch of salt there as well, and just give a good mix through until it is nice and smooth and creamy. We're then going to add in our eggs. So we're popping in 2 eggs there, and we will be adding in our vanilla extract as well. So we're just going to give that a wee mix through with the eggs first. So I decided to swap over to my whisk attachment, so I have changed it just to beat the eggs a little bit more. So you can do the same with your handheld mixer or a whisk if you've got one, if you're not using a KitchenAid or something similar. So we're just going to give that a good mix through until it is light and fluffy, and we're then going to add in our vanilla extract. So we popped our vanilla in there. We're just going to give that a wee mix through again. We're then going to sieve in our flour. So we're adding all of our flour in there. And we're going to add our coconut in there as well. And we're going to add our cherries in there, and I've just swapped it back to my other attachment, and we're just going to give that a wee mix through until it is nice and well combined. So the mixture will be quite thick at this point, but we're going to use our milk to thin it down. So you don't want to over mix it, so just a wee mix through is fine. And we're then going to add in our milk just a little bit at a time, and we're just going to mix through. So you might not need all of your milk, just depends on your mixture. But I've popped in approximately 225 mils here, so we're just going to add all of that until it is nice and smooth. So we do want to preheat our oven as well at 160, and that's a fan oven that I am using. I am going to create a conversion chart for my Patreon members for converting the temperatures, because I do get quite a lot of questions about that. So we're just going to pop all of our cake mixture into our loaf pan there, our loaf tin, and this is approximately 1 pound in size. We don't want to fill it too high, so if you're using something a little smaller, just make sure you haven't filled the batter right to the top of your loaf tin. You could also double up this recipe if you want to use a bigger one and make a bigger cake as well. So we're just going to smooth that along the top, and we're going to pop it in the oven for approximately 50 minutes to an hour. So once it is ready, it should look something like this, nice and risen on the top, nice and golden brown. And if you pop a cake pin or bottom of a spoon or something like I have here, and just make sure that it's not sticky inside. I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit sticky because it's just warm, and but you don't want it you don't want to see any cake batter on your spoon there. So we're just adding in some icing sugar into the bowl there. I'm using golden icing sugar and a wee bit of water, no specific quantity, just however much you want to make up. So you're just needing a wee bit of water to mix it through. And I've also added in a wee bit of lemon extract. Now this is not actually in the ingredients itself, but I thought it would be really nice to give it a wee try, so I just put a wee splash in, but you really don't have to put that in if you don't want to. And it's not in my original recipe, which is in the Scottish Tearoom cookbook as well. So we're just going to mix that through and we're going to pour that on top of the cake. So just put on however much you want to add. So once your icing is nice and smooth, we're going to add it to the top of the cake here. So just add on however much you like. You might not like as much as we like to put on. We like to load it on. And we are going to sprinkle our coconut on here as well. So another thing is you want to make sure your cake is fairly cool to touch before you add your icing onto. Otherwise it can sometimes just run right off the cake. So you want to sprinkle your coconut on as well when the icing is all wet, otherwise it won't stick to the icing. And I must apologise, it's quite windy when I am filming or recording my voice today, so I do apologise if you can hear the wind in the background. We're kind of like on the side of a hill here, so and typical Scottish weather, it was lovely and calm this morning. So we're going to sprinkle our coconut on top there, and we're then going to add on our sliced cherries. So again, there's no specific quantity for the cherries, just add on whatever you want to add on to decorate it. So I hope you enjoy making this delicious coconut cake. As I said before, it is one of my favourite recipes. It reminds me so much of my childhood. My mum would always have coconut cake in the house, enjoy it with a cup of tea in between the housework and that. And it's so delicious, and it just reminds me of all the lovely cakes and bakes and things that you can get in a typical Scottish tea room. And you can see the cake is really nice and moist inside, and it's so delicious. Kids absolutely love this recipe. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for supporting the Wee Larder. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed and you click the subscribe button, little bell next to it, I will see you guys again soon. If you haven't heard about my Patreon, I will pop a link down below, but there's loads of goodies waiting over there for you. My recipe cards and all sorts of other lovely things. My seasonal cooking guides are included in the membership as well. So thanks again, and take care. Lots of love from me. Bye bye.